Have you ever felt the cold, metallic taste of your own inauthenticity? It is a uniquely modern form of self-betrayal, one that happens in the quiet, flickering glow of a screen. You have a thought, a real one, nuanced, complex, perhaps a little strange. You type it out, a small and fragile flicker of your true self, but then you pause. A wave of ice-cold anxiety washes over you. What will they think? Is this the right opinion to have this week? Is it cringy? Is it problematic? Will it be liked? And so, with a quiet, almost imperceptible sigh of resignation, you delete it. You replace it with something safer, something more generic, something you have seen 1,000 times before. You post the popular slogan, the witty but meaningless meme, the perfectly curated photo. You hit send, and you watch with a kind of desperate, hungry ghostliness as the likes, the hearts, the little red notifications of empty approval begin to trickle in. In that moment, you feel a fleeting sense of relief, a warm neurological hit of social validation. You are safe, you are part of the tribe, you have performed correctly. But once that fleeting high has passed, what is left? You are left with a profound and hollow ache, the quiet, corrosive shame of a soul that knows it has just sold a piece of itself for nothing. You have traded a piece of your authentic, sovereign mind for a handful of digital trinkets, and you are beginning to suspect, in the deepest and most terrified parts of your being, that you have been making this trade over and over again, day after day, until there is almost nothing left of the original you to sell. This is the silent, defining tragedy of our age. We are not being conquered by an external force. We are not being silenced by a jackbooted tyrant. We are willingly and often enthusiastically participating in the collapse of our own independent minds. We have entered into a devastating Faustian bargain with the new gods of the digital pantheon, the twin deities of the algorithm and the crowd. The terms of the deal are brutally simple. In exchange for the constant, addictive, and deeply comforting stream of likes, trends, and empty approval, we agree to surrender the most precious and sacred thing we possess, the capacity to think for ourselves. This is not just a decline in critical thinking, it is a mass extinction of the individual soul, a great and terrible hollowing out that is leaving us as a civilization of beautiful, polished, and utterly empty shells. The new god of the digital pantheon, the idol of empty approval. To understand the mechanics of this collapse, you must first understand the nature of the new god we have built for ourselves. The deepest and most powerful human instinct, more powerful even than the drive for survival, is the drive to belong. For our ancestors, exile from the tribe was a literal death sentence. This ancient, primordial terror of being cast out is still the master program that runs in the deep, reptilian parts of our brain. Our entire psychological operating system is designed, first and foremost, to secure our place within the collective. For most of human history, the sources of this belonging were tangible, slow-moving, and rooted in the real world. The family, the village, the church. The feedback was intermittent and often subtle, but we have now created a machine that is capable of delivering this feeling of belonging with the speed, precision, and addictive power of a narcotic. This machine is the social media feed. The like, the share, the follow. These are not just features. They are the sacraments of our new religion. They are tiny, perfectly optimized, and endlessly available doses of social validation, of tribal approval. The psychology of this system is a masterpiece of behavioral engineering. Every time you post something that is met with a cascade of positive notifications, your brain is flooded with dopamine, the neurotransmitter of reward and motivation. You feel a jolt of pleasure, a sense of rightness and belonging. Every time you post something that is met with silence, or worse, with negative feedback, your brain is flooded with cortisol, the stress hormone. You feel the ancient, terrifying sting of potential exile. We are rats in a vast global Skinner box, and we are being neurologically conditioned with a ruthless efficiency to do one thing: to produce content that the collective will approve of. This is the devastating bargain at the heart of the modern condition. You, the authentic, complex, paradoxical, and often messy individual self, the self, as Carl Jung would call it, is not a very good product in this new marketplace. Your authentic thoughts are often too nuanced for the fast scroll. Your genuine feelings are often too inconvenient for the tribal narrative. Your strange, idiosyncratic passions are not on trend. And so, in order to succeed, in order to get your dopamine hit, you begin to unconsciously edit yourself. You sand down your rough edges. You suppress your inconvenient truths. You begin to construct a new self, a digital persona, a brand, a streamlined and market-tested version of you that is designed not for authenticity, but for applause. The more likes this persona gets, the more you identify with it. And the more you identify with it, the more the real, authentic self is starved, silenced, and exiled to the dark, forgotten corners of your own psyche. You have not just created a profile, you have performed a form of psychic suicide. The currency of the collapse, the hollow logic of trends. If empty approval is the god of this new age, then the trend is its holy scripture. The trend, the viral meme, the popular challenge, the outrage of the day, is the primary currency through which we purchase our sense of belonging. To participate in the trend is to be a part of the great collective conversation. It is to be in the know, to be relevant, to be, in a word, in. To be ignorant of the trend, or worse, to be critical of it, is to be an outsider, an alien, an apostate. The psychological power of the trend lies in its beautiful, seductive simplicity. To form an independent thought is an arduous, slow, and deeply uncomfortable process. It requires solitude, it requires deep reading, it requires the tolerance of ambiguity, and it requires the courage to arrive at a conclusion that may be unpopular or wrong. To participate in a trend, however, is fast, easy, and socially rewarding. It is a pre-packaged thought, a cognitive shortcut that relieves you of the terrifying burden of actual cognition. It is like the difference between cooking a complex, nutritious meal from scratch and ordering a cheap, greasy, and instantly gratifying fast food burger. We have, as a culture, chosen the fast food diet for our minds. This has a devastating effect on the very structure of our thinking. Our minds are becoming like muscles that are only ever asked to perform one simple, repetitive motion. The capacity for sustained, linear, and complex thought begins to atrophy. We lose the ability to follow a long argument, to read a difficult book, to hold multiple competing ideas in our minds at the same time. We become intellectually lazy, intolerant of anything that does not provide an immediate and easy emotional payoff. The trend-driven mind is not a thinking mind. It is a pattern-matching mind. It is constantly scanning the environment, not for truth, but for cues. What is my tribe saying about this? What is the correct emoji to use? What is the approved-of slogan? The goal is not to understand the world, but to correctly perform the role of a person who understands the world according to the tribe's script. This is the very definition of the empty voice. It is a voice that is not speaking from a place of internal reflection or genuine conviction, but is simply and skillfully repeating the lines it has been given, a perfect and hollow echo in the vast, empty hall of the consensus. The price of the trade, the atrophy and extinction of the inner world. What is the ultimate price of this Faustian bargain? It is not just the loss of our intellectual skills, it is the loss of our inner world. The independent mind is not just a thinking machine, it is a universe. It is a place of depth, of nuance, of memory, of imagination, of a unique and unrepeatable perspective on reality. It is the sacred, private sanctuary where we construct our own meaning, where we wrestle with our own demons, where we discover our own soul. It is this inner world that is being systematically dismantled and replaced with a cheap, flimsy, and externally generated substitute. The more you live your life for the approval of the digital crowd, the more your own inner authority begins to wither and die. You no longer look inward for your sense of self, for your values, for your truth. You look outward. Your consciousness becomes a frantic, anxious, and perpetually outward-facing satellite dish, constantly scanning the social environment for signals of what to think, what to feel, and who to be. Your own inner landscape, neglected and unvisited, begins to turn into a barren desert. This, from a Jungian perspective, is the great and tragic exile of the self. The self, the totality of your being, the source of all your creativity and all your authentic power, cannot live in the bright, noisy, and performative world of the persona. It can only live in the deep, quiet, and often dark world of the soul. By trading our inner world for the empty approval of the outer world, we are severing our connection to this vital, life-giving source. We are cutting ourselves off from our own roots. This is the source of the profound and pervasive anxiety and meaninglessness that haunts modern life. We are living in a state of profound spiritual starvation. We are gorging ourselves on the empty calories of likes and trends, all the while starving for the deep, nourishing food of our own authentic being. We feel like ghosts because we have become ghosts. The I that navigates our daily life is no longer a sovereign and centered self. It is a flickering, fragmented, and deeply insecure collection of reflections, a collage of other people's opinions, a hollow echo that has forgotten the sound of its own original voice. The path of reclamation. How to buy back your mind from the jaws of the collective. If this is the diagnosis, what is the cure? How do you break free from this self-imposed prison of the empty self? The path is not one of greater engagement, of trying to win the game of social media. The path is one of radical, courageous, and deliberate withdrawal. It is the path of reclaiming your own mind from the jaws of the collective. The first step on this path is to go on an approval fast. This is a form of psychological and spiritual detox. You must consciously and deliberately starve the part of you that is addicted to external validation. This means posting without checking for likes. It means turning off your notifications. It means deliberately and systematically abstaining from the trending topics, the viral outrages, the entire frantic and meaningless conversation of the collective. You must be willing to feel the profound and terrifying discomfort of being irrelevant, of being unseen, of being out of the loop. This discomfort is the withdrawal symptom of your addiction, and it is only by moving through it that you can break the neurological chains that bind you. The second step is the sacred work of rebuilding your inner world. You must become an artisan of your own mind. This means, above all, the cultivation of silence. You must carve out sacred time and space in your day where you are free from all external inputs. You must have the courage to be bored. You must learn to read again, to read long, difficult books that do not offer easy answers. And you must, above all, learn to engage in the lost art of private thought. The most powerful tool for this is the journal. To write for an audience of one, for yourself, is to be free from the tyranny of the persona. It is the space where you can be wrong, where you can be confused, where you can follow a heretical thought to its conclusion without fear of judgment. It is the slow, patient, and sacred work of excavating your own buried thoughts, of listening to the quiet, half-forgotten whisper of your own authentic self. Finally, you must practice small, courageous acts of intellectual heresy. The muscle of independent thought, like any muscle, is strengthened through resistance. You must learn to tolerate the discomfort of not being in perfect agreement with your tribe. Start small. Express a nuanced or unpopular opinion to a trusted friend. Choose not to participate in the public shaming of a designated sinner. This is not about being a contrarian for the sake of it. It is about practicing the art of anchoring your own perception of reality in your own direct experience and your own sovereign reason, rather than in the shifting sands of the collective consensus. Each small act of non-conformity is a declaration of independence, a vote cast for the reality of your own soul. This is the path. It is a lonely path. It is a path that will not win you followers or retweets. It will not make you influential in the shallow sense of the word. But it is the only path that will keep your mind and your soul alive in an age that is dedicated to their extinction. The world offers you a simple and devastating bargain, your mind in exchange for a fleeting sense of belonging. The path of the independent thinker is the refusal of this bargain. It is the choice to be a flawed, complex, and often lonely sovereign, rather than a popular, polished, and utterly empty slave. It is the choice to be a quiet and perhaps unheard voice, rather than a loud and perfect echo. And in that choice lies the last and most sacred hope for a future in which the human mind is not just a beautiful memory, but a living, breathing, and world-creating force.